everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week I am planning with Dash of Sun Designs kit Autumn Auburn, and it is a lovely kit. It's got this brick red color that is so beautiful. It's also got the lovely lilac. I really love the washi here and the classic Dash of Sun Design headers. Also got the full sheet of deco, lots to play with. So yeah, let us get into it. So this week, I know I've been gone for a while. Let's say that. These past 2 weeks have been just so busy with work. I barely had time to breathe, It's funny. My parents are like, we always notice when you get busy with work because we'll go like a super long time without hearing from you. It'll just be like a radio silence. And I feel so guilty about that, but it's honestly the truth. Is like, when work gets busy, it just sucks all of the energy out of me. I just feel like I have nothing left. So, I have content filmed, I have pictures taken to post to IG and all of this, and it just feels like I don't have the mental energy. Like every day I'm just recovering from the previous day and just trying to get ready for for the next day. So I'm sorry for my long absence after Halloween, but I am back. What I am kind of brainstorming right now on my own is how to weather these busy times at work and still keep up with content. Because I do that thing that I think a couple folks do where it's like, I will film my spreads ahead, and then edit them. But it's a little bit like when things get busy, I just don't have the time to edit. So I'm wondering if there's a way that I can batch edit, batch film, batch edit, and then, kind of schedule stuff ahead of time, or even prep stuff for me to do the voiceover. But yeah, I'm sure there's, some things that I can do. I just am thinking about that more now. So yeah, work has been super busy, and I haven't had time for my hobbies, but this past week was Thanksgiving, and I took the whole week off, which was great. It was a great time to kind of relax and to, just do stuff outside of work. I always feel like on breaks, I end up, looking at my partner and just being like, whoa, I forgot that you were a real cool person, you just have time to kind of sit down and just breathe. So it was nice. I also, and I know this is not what you're supposed to do, but I found some time to do some writing related to work. And so the reason why I usually end up doing this around break times is because I feel like I can actually think. And I have time to kind of sit down where I'm not in meetings, and I'm not, not in meetings, or I'm not having to do stuff that needs my immediate attention. It's more that I have time to kind of do this deep thinking where I just have room to roll ideas around in my head and really explore things. So I feel like I'm able to, really just get into a creative thinking space, which is unusual for me when I'm swamped at work with meetings and such, and a lot of fire drill work, so stuff that needs to get done immediately. So yeah. In addition to, relaxing from work, I got up to a couple things this week. So I watched this movie on my sister's recommendation called Smile. It's a horror movie, which I like. I do like horror movies, scary movies. But she was like, this is going to be really scary. And I didn't think it was all that scary. It was definitely creepy. There were definitely parts of it that I was like, ooh, I really didn't like that. And there were some shots, some kind of flashes in the screen to things where I was like, oh my gosh, I really didn't like that. I wish I hadn't seen that. That was really bad. But I didn't feel like I walked away just shook, for lack of a better expression. I think it's probably different seeing it at home, because I watched it at home and she watched it in the movie theater. It came out a few weeks ago. She also said that, like, oh, I prepped you that it was scary ahead of time, and like we had no prep, her and her friend who went to the movie theater, and that's probably true. But I watched it and it was like, woo, this is like, ooh, really creepy, you know, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm scared afterwards. One of the movies that I was super scared afterwards was the newer It, the first one, the first part. Meaning the newer one, meaning like not the old one from the 80s, I guess it was. But the new one that had like a lot of the kids from Stranger Things, a lot. I think it's one guy. But they all look like they could be in Stranger Things to me, besides that one guy. That one I saw in the movie theaters, and that one scared me so bad that me and the guy I was with at the time, like, we had gone to see it, and we literally just had to like drive around, and we went and got ice cream afterward, and I was like, I don't want to go home. You know, I'm just so scared. Like, it was broad daylight. It was like the middle of the day that we had gone to see it, and we both came out of the movie theater being like, oh my gosh, like I can't relax. Like, I feel so shaken up. It was really scary. And again, I think the theater had a lot to do with it, but we were both so scared. I went to see Midsummer with my current partner, and there's a couple like scenes in there that's like, ooh, that's awful. And he didn't say at the time that he was scared, but when we left, he was like, I didn't like that. I never want to see anything like that again. And I was like, okay, that's fair. Okay, that's totally fair. But like, yeah, I looked over at him during the movie and he was just staring straight ahead. I was like, oh my gosh, either he's terrified or he's like so angry at this that I made him come and see this. So it had, I think it was that between that and Hereditary rather, it had a lot of like scares where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that just happened. You know, like I was really not expecting that. So it was much more like unexpected kind of creepiness than, whereas it had both unexpected creepiness and also these jump scares. That movie's been out for a while, so I feel like I can say this, but spoilers. In the first It, there's a scene where the monster, the clown guy, climbs out of a projector. Like, just straight up climbs. They're like watching a movie and he like straight up climbs out of it. And I literally remember being in the movie theater just like screaming. Like, oh my God. Oh my goodness. So yeah. So I watched that movie. I've also been catching up. It's an old show. I've been watching this show called Keeping Up Appearances. It's a show I used to watch with my mother. It used to be on PBS. It's about this British lady who's just like really good at putting on airs and like thinks she's better than everyone else. It's just really funny. She gets into shenanigans, you know, her husband's sick of her, all this stuff. It's really great. And we have been watching through the like TV Star Wars shows. So Book of Boba Fett, which I thought was really good. Like, I wouldn't count myself as a Star Wars stan. I will watch it if it's on, and I've seen, I think, all the movies, but it's like, I'm more like a casual fan. I'm not like, oh my gosh, super fan. But Book of Boba Fett was really good. The whole time, though, I was looking at this and I was like, Boba Fett looks like somebody's uncle. Like, every time he would get into a fight, I'm like, why are you trying to beat up somebody's old uncle? Like, that's just the vibe I got. Of course, we watched The Mandalorian, which I found really adorable and cute. There was a scene in Book of Boba Fett where they basically did like a young Luke talking to Grogu, aka the kid, and they did some CGI on his face where I was like, this is so creepy. Like, this looks like it could be. I'm like, Mark Hamill is old. Like, Mark Hamill, the guy who plays, you know, Luke Skywalker, he's old. Like, this is not right. This was never in a movie or anything. It just like freaked me out. But Mandalorian was good. Book of Boba Fett was really good. So now we are watching Andor. And I think we just finished the second episode. It's going really slowly. My partner was like, I don't know if I want to invest in watching. I'm like, everybody says it's really good. We should just like hang on. But the first episode was like setting it up. And the second one, I'm like, nothing happened. You know, like he just ran around a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I guess we're going to keep watching it. And hopefully it gets the pace gets picked up. But it's also interesting in that I don't know if it's something up with our TV or our settings or whatever, but there's parts of Andor so far where they're speaking another language and there are no subtitles. And I can't tell if that's intentional. I don't want to look anything up about it because I don't want to get any spoilers. But I'm like, is this how they meant for us to be seeing this, experiencing this? Because we can't understand a word that they're saying. And like, if this is a deliberate choice, then that's cool and fine. And that's great that that's intentional. But if it's not, then like, how do we turn the subtitles on? Because we're missing key plot points. So yeah, that's interesting. So we've been watching that. I have been playing a lot of Spelling Bee. It's this game on the New York Times app that is basically like every day you get a set of letters and there's a center letter that you have to include in each word, and you try to get what's called a pangram. It's the word that incorporates all the letters. And you also get all the like smaller words that include some of the letters but have to include the center letter. So I've been playing a lot of that. They release new puzzles at midnight, and I'm always like, if I'm up at 11:30, I'm like, I'm gonna wait for the Spelling Bee. But when it's when it's work time, or time to go to bed right before work the next day, I'm probably gonna be like, nah, girl, chill. You can wait until the morning to play Spelling Bee. Of course, playing Wordle. I don't know if people are still playing that. I remember when it blew up and it was a huge thing. I'm still playing it. I do miss a day here and there, but for the most part, I still play it. It usually takes me 4 guesses. I'm unashamed because sometimes the joint is hard. So, and the mini crossword. So those word games from New York Times, I find really fun and just relaxing. Tonight, before I recorded this, we had our own at-home like paint and sip. So, saw this idea on a random like blog that was like date night ideas for home. And what we did was go to Michael's and we bought these pre-drawn like canvas squares. So when I say pre-drawn, it's like the way that a coloring book looks. It's like these pre-drawn kind of characters on these canvas plates, and you basically just kind of paint in them. So we got these washable paints because we were like, if this gets on the table or somebody's clothes, we want it to not be a disaster. And just like painted and chatted and put on some coffee shop music, and it was really fun. So that was just like a random, and Michael's is still having their Black Friday sale, so I ended up getting everything, like the paints, the brushes, the canvas for like $20. It was really cheap. And that got us like 2.5 hours of just like hanging out, which was really fun. So yeah, highly recommend. Obviously now would be a good time because again of Black Friday. But Michael's always has pretty good sales. They usually have 20% off or something. And if you sign up for their membership, you get additional discounts. But it was a cheap, like fun activity at home that like was very little mess and just, yeah, it was really fun. So could recommend that. But other than that, yeah, I'm just like soaking up time until it's time to go back to work, and just enjoying my break. The holidays are always kind of a weird time at work. I don't know if this is true for anyone else, but it's a little bit like you want to get stuff done because you want to have certain things done by January, but it's like these weeks in between Thanksgiving and Christmas feel just like low in terms of productivity. Everybody's like, I'm just hanging on until Christmas break. I'm just trying to get out of here, like it's kind of a weird time. You're trying to do stuff, but not too much, not something, wild, because again, people are out at various times. Like, when I look at the schedule for like people that I work closely with, like some people are taking a good portion of this upcoming week off, and then they're heading out around the 19th for Christmas break, and we'll be back until like, the new year. So you really can't do a lot that's dependent on other folks because they're just gonna straight up be out of office, so yeah, it's kind of strange, but there's still some stuff to be done. I just won't stress about it. And yeah, stress, man, stress from work is a killer. There are times where I wake up you know, super early. I've gone to bed at like 11:30 or something like that, and I wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'm thinking about work, and I'm just like, ugh, you know, I want to go back to sleep, but I pretty much have to be up around 7 or 7:30. So I'm like, please just go back to sleep, you know, which is really hard for me. Anyway, yeah. I have missed planning. I'm like slowly easing back into it. Again, I filmed this planning to share it earlier, and I'm just now getting around to do the voiceover now, but I've really been enjoying doing date cover deco on the top of my pages. I think it's really fun. It's been kind of a nice like creative outlet for me to like jumpstart my creative juices and to try out a few things. So I'm really enjoying it. You're probably going to see a lot more date cover area deco from me. And yeah, it's just something I'm leaning into now. I think I'm also going to fully lean into the insert life. Just because I am just loving it. I think it's a little bit, you know, easier for me to try new things than on coil for some reason. I don't know why. The good thing about coil, I will say, for filming is that it doesn't move around so much. So like you just flip over the book and it stays in the same place. Whereas with the inserts, I feel like they end up sliding around a little bit on my desk more than I would have experienced obviously with the coil. And so that's just like a minor issue, but I think it really doesn't matter. You know, I will deal with it. So yeah, like I said, have really enjoyed experimenting with different things. I really love this kit in particular because it just like screams fall. But it has both warm and cool colors in it. So like the Auburn, that brownie red, is definitely really warm, but the lilac is definitely really like kind of a cooler color. And I think everything looks really warm here. All the colors are really warm and cozy, but I think the lilac was an interesting element. So I am, however, very ready to get into Christmas kits. I have a ton of Christmas kits. In fact, I'll be sharing Christmas haul with y'all very soon, and I just cannot wait. I have so much matching polish that just, whoa. The manicures are going to be out of sight, hopefully. I hope, if I don't mess them up. But I have so much matching polish, so many Christmas kits. I just am thrilled. So much deco, so much foil deco, so much non-foiled. Like, it is going to be such a good time. I cannot wait to start putting those spreads together and sharing them with you all. So that has been really, really fun. We are coming to the end of this spread. Hope y'all enjoyed catching up on what I've been up to, and hope you all had a lovely Thanksgiving. I didn't even say what I did on Thanksgiving. I basically just called my parents and then went and had dinner with my partner's parents, which was pretty fun. So yeah, hope y'all had a lovely holiday too, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.